Welcome. In this lesson, we're going to learn to convert an equation of a hyperbola that's written in general form to standard form. Now, some of them are very easy because there's no shift to them. They're centered at the origin. You do not have to complete the square, which is something you've done with both ellipses and circles and parabolas. So for this one, it's very simple. Add the 36 over. So you have x squared minus y squared equals 36, and then divide both sides by 36 and type in x squared over 36 minus y squared over 36 equals 1. Because when you divide by 36, I meant to grab the eraser there, that becomes a 1. And so you type in that right there, just like I did, and hit submit, and there we go. Now I'm going to jump ahead. Oh, by the way, make sure you swap the terms if they need to be swapped. If you notice the negative x squared, you're going to put the y squared in front. So this one, again, very quickly, to type this one in, it would be y squared over 81 minus x squared over 81 equals 1. So you swap the order to make sure you're minusing. We have the positive term minus minus the second term, and then divide by 81. Now here's one that we're going to have to complete the square one time, and we're going to have to complete it with the x term. The first thing I notice, though, is my y squared term is positive. So I'm going to leave the y squared term alone. I'm going to bring the x squared term to the right. I'm going to bring the the x squared to the left and the 97 to the right. So I'm going to have a minus x squared minus 16x equals positive 97. Now, this is what's kind of hard to remember is we're minusing this. So what we need to do is we need to actually factor out a negative 1 or whatever number might be sitting in front of the x squared. But if there's no number, we actually factor out a negative 1 and we write x squared plus 16x. And then remember, leave a space equals 97. And now we got to think what number goes here. Because remember, we need a binomial squared. So I have my x, and this number here is always half the 16. So it's going to be 8, and it's going to be plus. And then if I square 8, I'm going to do this in a different color. Squaring 8 means I actually added in here 16. Not 16, 64. I can square 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Now be careful. I didn't really add 64 to the left side because remember, there's this minus in front. I actually minused 64. So on the right side, 97 minus 64 is going to be what? 33, I believe. 7 minus 4 is 3. 9 minus, yep. And then we have this 3y squared. It's in front of your minus x plus 8 squared. Now we divide by 33, and I'm not sure if they will always come out to be integers, but most likely they will. So I divide both sides by 33. This leading 3 goes into 33, which will leave us with an 11. So we have a y squared, which I just typed in, over 11, because 3 and 33 reduced to an 11 on the bottom, minus the x plus 8 in parentheses squared over 33 equals 1. So I had to complete the square with the x terms, but not the y because there was only a y squared. There was no single y square or y term. Now I've jumped ahead to do one where I have to complete the square twice. First thing I'm going to do is always find the squared term that's positive, which is my x. My y squared term is negative. So I'm going to bring the x squared term in front. After that, I'm going to bring the single x term to go along with it, 72x. Then I'm going to do my minus 5y squared. Again, right after that, I'm going to do my plus 50y equals because I'm going to bring the 61 to the right side, a negative 61. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need the x squared term and the y squared term to both be 1s. So what I'm going to do is actually factor out a 6 in front of my x squared term. Okay, so and I'm going to also pull from the 72x. So if I factor out a 6, I'm left with a positive x squared, a positive, what's 72 divided by 6? That'd be 12x. I leave a space for that third term that I need. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a minus 5 from the y terms. So I have just a single y squared. And now be careful here. I factored out a negative 5, a negative 5. This will become a minus 10. Do not forget that you're factoring out the negative with this second term. Do parentheses. Oh, whoops, I forgot my y. There's a y there. I should have left a space there. I'm going to give myself more space. Leave myself a space to put that missing term in, equals our negative 61. Now I got to find my missing third term. And remember, I kind of like to start to write the next term already, because I take half of this value, which is 6, but then I square that 6, and I'm going to be adding in 36 here. Again, minus, there's a 6 out front though, don't forget that, 5 parentheses, y, now half of negative 10 is negative 5 squared, which means I'm going to be adding in 25 here. Now I got to add or subtract in the values on this side, so I'll be very careful. I said I added in 36 with the x squared, but I didn't. I have to multiply 6 by 36. So I'm just going to grab a calculator really quickly and do 36 times 6. I really added in 216. So I'm going to add in 216 on the right side. Likewise, I didn't actually add 25 in the second parentheses. I minused 125. So I'm going to minus 125 because that's negative 5 times the 25. So this is going to equal, so I'm going to add the 216, or actually take 216 minus 61 and minus 125, and we get 30. So this side becomes 30 when I combine these three terms. Now all I got to do is divide by 30 and then reduce. And if you notice, both 6 and 5 go into 30. So I'm going to type in my final answer after I divide everything by 30. I've typed in that equation here, and unfortunately when I went to type this in, it for some reason shifted this down. But just remember, I'm typing in this expression right here where I've reduced the 6 over 30 to be 1 over 5 and the 5 over 30 to be 1 over 6. So I have a center at negative 6, positive 5. My a value is the square root of 5. My b value is the square root of 6, and there's nothing wrong with those being irrational numbers. But again, hopefully you followed me through this process on how I brought the x's to one spot, the y's to another spot, the non-xy term to the right side, completed the square. If you have questions, please make sure you are brave enough to ask and bring them to class, and I will help you.